Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Good morning if you're in Australia, New Zealand. Good evening, good afternoon if you're in the UK or over in Europe. And good afternoon here in the United States. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. I have some new important information regarding the Yellowstone supervolcano. Just when you think things got big, they just got a little bit bigger. The stage is being set for something potentially bigger than we're already dealing with now. We've been dealing with earthquakes roaming all around the earth, especially in the northern hemisphere. Those numbers could go up here soon. We could see volcano activity go up here soon. In less than 10 days, there's something big brewing, and I'm going to talk about that here in this live stream in just a few minutes. You're probably wondering what you're looking at. Welcome, everybody. What's going on? Eldon, Austin, Ophius, Cian, Russell. Good day, everybody. I'm going to swing back by the chat here in just a minute. Don't forget to become a Star Family member if you want to. The link's at the top of the chat. In this video, you guys are going to see a new UV reading update, an update on Yellowstone, blue and red rain. Are you serious right now? A comet atlas update, if it is indeed a comet. And then I've got a special video, something different to share with you guys towards the end of this live stream. But first, what you're looking at, we're going to talk about the inbound interstellar traveler that's from another star system. I mean, this is totally cool. This is 3I Atlas. And what you're looking at here are the orbit paths of the sun, our sun. That would be the yellow dots. And the red lines you see are the orbit path, not necessarily orbit, but the path of the interstellar traveler, Atlas, that's going through the inner solar system right now. Look at how they're on the ecliptic plane. That is so unusual for a comet. And I'm still not convinced that it's a comet. I mean, it could be. They're saying that this right here is indeed a comet. But I don't think anybody really knows yet. I mean, unless you have access to Hubble, Hubble can get up real close to things a long ways away. And this isn't that far. I mean, it's less than 300 million miles away from Hubble. So I know Hubble's gotten a very good look at this thing. The email's working good. If you guys have things you'd like to share, by all means, the superhighway's open. Send the emails, and the Dropbox is open. Open for business. Go ahead and send your pictures, photos. I know there for a while we had a little bit of an issue with the email. And believe it or not, it was our hosting service. And that's what they're saying potentially is going on with some of the seismograph activity up here at Yellowstone. They are in the middle of switching hosting servers, but I've done that myself, and you didn't really go offline for several days at a time, but we'll talk about that later. Looking at the earthquake situation, the numbers are probably going to go up. We're probably going to see more swarming, more big earthquakes, more activity. Are you serious? We're already seeing unusual activity at the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera. We've got videos circulating. A gentleman that lives near the caldera, not necessarily right on it, but near, somewhere in this region here. The ground has been acting unusual. We talked about it in yesterday's live, in fact, and I'm going to share it again. There's a new update. The ground basically doing the same thing that it's been doing, that he's noticed since he started noticing this less than 10 days ago, right around the time that we couldn't get access to the seismographs. And there's some places that still are not showing seismograph activity, but I do have a link, and I'm going to share that with you guys. In fact, if I can find it, I've got so many tabs open again. I want to take you back to that place right there. That's a super cool place. I'm going to talk about a storm system that's brewing in the Pacific, multiple storms in the Pacific. We'll come back to that here in a minute. But I've had several people share links with me regarding the supervolcano caldera, and this is one of them. We can look at some of the data around the caldera, in fact, around the whole Yellowstone National Park. You can see the map here at the USGS, and I've used this a long time ago. You can actually see a camera right here at Mount Washburn. This is a fire lookout camera looking out across the northern northern tier of the caldera, looking towards Montana. And this is the location, or at least it's in the general location of the seismograph that was misbehaving. Remember the seismograph? If you go back in time to the last time we had data, let's go back to the 14th, and we'll generate a report over here at this is the Yellowstone seismograph. Look at that. The seismograph jumping all over the place. We've been following this for like a month, actually over a month. So now we're looking at the same general location, and obviously it's not going to show us anything like that, but we can now get heat signatures. What else can we get? Instruments, here we go. GPS, infrasound, seismometer, temperature, tilt meters. Those are always a good source of information too. In fact, here's a tilt meter right here, and it shows a little bit of activity, unusual activity on this seismograph, tilt meter, whatever you want to call it. But it does detect earthquake activity as well. So we're starting to see a little bit of activity in various places around the supervolcano caldera. Are the seismographs back online? No. Here's the past 24 hours of a seismograph, but still all of these don't work. They're all not active. Even though this can be a decent source of information, here's another one here. Don't know the exact location, YMP. It's pretty quiet. I was looking at one earlier from the lake. There you go. This one here showed some movement. Seismometer at the lake. Look at all that activity. That's in the last 3.5, 4 hours. Yellowstone Lake showing some activity. The red normally represents earthquake activity, but that could be some other type of energy showing up at the supervolcano caldera. I want to show you guys. We're going to come back and look at some of these other instruments as well. There's a couple more cameras. In fact, I'll take you to a camera right now. I think it's this one right here, the Black Diamond Pool. Check this out. This is a still image. It's not a live camera, but you can see what's going on. In fact, this is the most recent image, 1507 Universal, or 1615 Universal, 7/29 of 2025. There you go. Black Diamond Pool. This is near the supervolcano lake, just on the edge of the caldera. So we can kind of get a little bit of information, but I want to show you guys something that's turning towards the Earth. I just showed you the Earth facing side of the sun. This is big. Here's what's happening. We all know, and we've learned over the years, that not only coronal holes, but sunspots and heightened solar activity increase earthquake activity on the Earth, and it also increases volcanic activity on the Earth, right? Well, we're seeing unusual activity at the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera. Well, you don't see too much activity on the Earth-facing side of the sun right now. Today's the 29th. Coming up in about 7 days, there's a giant sunspot, and this thing is huge. What you're looking at, how you interpret this graph here from spaceweather.com, the gray area is the Earth-facing side of the sun. This is a spherical map that's laid out flat, okay? The orange represents the dark side of the sun. Look at that huge sunspot over here. This is turning towards the Earth. That is going to release a lot of energy, and it's just above the equator, below the 30-degree north latitude. So that's going to line up squarely with the Earth. Looking at the size of this thing, it more than likely has what's known as beta, gamma, delta magnetics. Has to have the delta magnetics component in order to produce X flares. But just its sheer presence, it's already sending shock waves around the sun right now. It's changing literally the way the sun vibrates. It is so big. It's sending ripples around the sun. So it's going to send ripples through the fabric of space. And guess where that's going to go? Right down here on the Earth. And that energy is going to be absorbed by every volcano on the Earth, especially big volcanoes. They're going to absorb big amounts of that energy. Hello, the stage is being set. Mount Kilauea, the activity over in Italy, the activity up in Alaska. We're going to see, it's inevitable. We're going to see an increase, not only in earthquakes, but volcanic activity as well. And more than likely up here at the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, where we're already seeing highly unusual activity. In case you guys missed it, I just want to share it again. I have I think this is a new update. Hang on, I've got like 9,000 windows open here. Actually, 9,003, if you want to get specific. No, I'm just playing. I do have a bunch, though. Here we go. Near Yellowstone. Just in case you guys didn't see this yesterday, this is what's happening. This is like a homemade seismograph, if you will. The ground's moving around Yellowstone. Check it out. It's bouncing on this guy's ranch. It's making this unusual noise that he's not used to hearing. And the ground is bouncing again. It's bouncing this bottle. This is what's going on. Knocked the bottle over. That wasn't from wind. That's from the very ground moving beneath his feet. That's kind of scary when the ground starts moving beneath your feet. You know what I mean? And you can see cracks developing there from the vibration. Well, that vibration is going to increase. There's no doubt about it. It's done it before. It does it every time that there's a huge sunspot facing the Earth. And like right there, he just said, what in the world is going on? This isn't something that he's necessarily used to. And here's where it gets very intense. Look at the ground. Literally bouncing. And that's what gave us the idea that the ground was literally bouncing up here at this seismograph right here. That's what it kind of shows us, that the ground is bouncing. Could be a faulty needle. I doubt it. I think the ground is literally bouncing there because that's along the northern edge of the caldera. And you go north and you're looking at that camera that we just saw. And that seismograph is somewhere in that area. So guys, we can't see it right now. In fact, let me update it real quick. You can start to see a small sunspot back here. And this is the location of this titanic sunspot that's turning towards the Earth. It's right there. That would be around the 28-degree north latitude. It's coming. The stage is being set for something big in August. August could be a very busy month here on the Earth. It's going to be a very busy month on the Earth-facing side of the sun. So just be ready. Be ready for anything. Thank you, Shauna, for the super chat. Sean, I got the first super chat of the day. Appreciate that. Let me give you a like, Sean. I got my chat over here on the right. It's on a separate monitor. Whoops, sorry about that, Olivia. Hey, Olivia, Playman, Armelia, what's going on, guys? Super chats are, if you guys have questions or anything, the super chats are the way to go. Just send a super chat. I can see them over here out of my peripheral because they're bright colors. There's red, there's yellow like Shauna just sent, orange, I see them. So if you have a question, and I'm working right now, I'm trying to give you guys this information in order. I have it on my handy dandy note card here, and I try to stay focused and I'm all business, when I'm doing the presentation here. But anyway, this is a big deal. We have a big sunspot turning towards the Earth. This is a graph from spaceweather.com. It's put out by the Space Weather Prediction Center. Again, this is a round graph flattened out. The orange parts are the dark side of the sun, the back. The gray area is the light, or the side that's facing the Earth, orange backside of the sun. This is a absolutely gigantic sunspot that's turning towards the Earth. That's what's up. It is going to instigate volcanic activity. It could instigate new volcanic activity. We're already seeing volcanic activity, and we are definitely seeing earthquake activity. During yesterday's live stream, here's the activity right now around the supervolcano caldera, a little swarm there around Teton, up over into Idaho. There's been an ongoing swarm in central Idaho, which is highly unusual, by the way. I can remember a day not too long ago when there were no earthquakes in Idaho, Montana, and very few. There were some, but very few around the caldera. Now it's a common everyday thing. When you come over here to the map, you could see earthquakes literally anywhere on this map of the U.S. You can see one up in Canada, just north and east of Quebec. What? This is bizarre. Here's one down here north and east of, you guessed it, the New Madrid Fault Zone that hasn't been active in 213 years. So things could get interesting here, guys. The stage is being set. However, the stage in the Atlantic Ocean is not being set. It is full of Sahara dust. Those of you that are living along the east coast of the United States are well aware of that. and in the Gulf regions and Florida. Right now, at least for the next 5 days, there should not be any hurricane activity in the Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea, or the Gulf of America, right? Because the Sahara sand is keeping the environment super dry. It's not happening. There's a little opening right there, but trust me, there's not going to be any type of hurricane activity anytime soon, as long as that sand plume's there. And here's a look at it in color. So those of you that are living in Florida, this is traveling east to west. And there's a big plume that just came off the west coast of Africa. Right now, believe it or not, in the Gulf and around Florida, most of Florida, it's relatively decent. There's not a whole lot of, that affects your air quality. So the air quality's halfway decent, but it's about to go south again the sooner this big plume gets here, and it's traveling at a slow pace, but it'll still arrive intact for the most part. In less than about 10 days, it'll be right here on the edge of the Caribbean, in the Bahamas area. That is one big plume. Hey, there's another super chat. Thank you, guys. Hope the volume's better. I've got my Roku viewers back. Thank you, Roku viewers. Thank you for all you do. I've been telling, give a big shout out to Deborah Young. Thank you, Deborah Young. Yeah, thank you, Deborah. Yes, I appreciate that. Hey, Alexis Omnis, Star family member. Thank you, Deborah, for doing that. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Shauna. Wanted to show you guys the UV readings today. These are important too. These tell us the strength of our shields and how they're doing on a day-to-day basis. There's another super chat. Man, keep them coming, guys. You guys are the best. Okay, hold on, I'll be right with you. Magalina Masso. Where's my UV reading? I just did it. There's my UV reading. Here we go. Real quick, guys. Ground level ultraviolet radiation is basically what it is. There's supposed to be a little bit at ground level, UVAB, not UVC, but we measure. There's another one. Hey, Graham, what's up? The first reading you guys are going to see is from Abbotsford, British Columbia, up here at the 50-degree north latitude. Their UV up there, ultraviolet, should be much less than what I'm measuring down here in Arizona. However, you can see his high reading, which is this stationary number right here. The bigger number at the top fluctuates. This number right here was his highest reading, 11.82. That is considered extreme UV. He took this yesterday at 12:13 p.m. This is Darren out of Abbotsford, British Columbia. But it's been consistent. He's been sending me UV readings, that's the email, for 5 years. And they've always been high up in Abbotsford, and they shouldn't be. This is my reading from today out here in Arizona. And my high reading, you can see, was 10.93, which was lower than Darren's up at the 50-degree north latitude. I'm at the 33-degree north. So in theory, actually, scientifically, I should be much higher than Darren's. Darren shouldn't be higher than Phoenix, but it is consistently. So there's some sort of an anomaly. I don't know exactly how to interpret that, because the higher up the latitudes you go, the lower the UV gets. The closer you go to the equator, the higher the UV gets. And it's all because of atmospheric thickness. And the higher you go up in the latitudes, the thicker the atmosphere. So it blocks more UV, that's all. Everett Watson, a Star family member. Hey, I got the best moderator on YouTube. Thank you, moderator. You're doing a great job, as always. What's up, Graham? Solar activity equals ionized atmosphere. Big problems, you're right. Graham, smart man. Mags moved from Okeechobee, now in Chiefland, Florida. It wasn't Skinwalker in my yard, but a huge hog tipped 101 in South Florida. Are you serious? Thank you guys for the super chats. Really appreciate that. And Graham, you are correct. We have a huge sunspot that could get bigger, turning towards the Earth. It's on the backside of the sun, but it's going to be a game changer. It's going to increase the frequency down here on the Earth. In fact, speaking of frequency, I had some people ask me what the Schumann resonance was. And my wife was watching she was watching a video last night. She saw somebody talking about the Schumann. And she asked me, she said, is the Schumann up? And I said, no. And she says, well, this guy says it is. And I looked and I says, well, that's not accurate. Well, he says it is. And I'm like, well, it's not. According to my sources, and this is what my sources are telling me. The last 72 hours, the Schumann, for the most part, has been relatively quiet. This person was showing some very dramatic spikes in the Schumann, which simply weren't true. I'm like, well, you can believe it if you want, but my sources are telling me that there's not. And you can see there aren't. This top graph, the top line of this graph is the last 24 hours. And you can see maybe a little bit of activity, maybe going up to 9 or 10. The average Schumann frequency is 7.83. The big spikes are down here 5 days ago, right? That's a big spike. That's above 40 hertz. These are 7.83 for the most part, right? They're 7.83. So no, the Schumann hasn't been up. And those of you that are sensitive to the energies and that are detected in the Schumann, the frequency of the Earth, you don't need that graph to know when the Schumann's up. You already know. A lot of you are sensitive to the Schumann. Your neurological system is always on high alert. Okay, Atlas. I wanted to go back to Yellowstone real quick. I want to thank you guys for sharing these links with me. These are a good source of information. They tell us at least a little bit about what's going on at the supervolcano. Here's another graph that's not showing anything at all. So I don't know. I mean, I know there's activity going on, but we're not necessarily in the same location as that gentleman. Here's up along the Montana-Wyoming border, but we don't have any access to the data. Here's another data point. Let's see if we can view it. These are showing temperature. Okay, there we go. Temperature readings. Cool. Don't see any anomalies, a little bit, but not a whole lot of anything that's, concerning or wild and wacky. We're not seeing anything like that. Look at all the activity over in the Portland area. Like I said, I can remember a day when there were no earthquakes in Portland or Seattle, especially Idaho. Are you serious? Earthquakes in Idaho? That just wasn't a thing. That's when I learned a long time ago that all of these volcanoes up here and stuff, they're just one part of one big family. They're all connected. Everything's connected. You guys know that. You're smart people. Everything is connected. Let's go back into Yellowstone. I wanted to show you guys another instrument right here. Oh, here's a look at Yellowstone. It's showing code green right now, and the alert level is normal. That's what's showing up here. I don't know when this was updated. Some of these are showing the 29th. Some of them I don't have access to at all. It's not like the seismographs that we used to have access to, but hopefully those will be back online soon. I do have some other locations that show seismographs around Howard sent me this. It's the SAGE seismograph data, and you can bounce around and get information there. It's another good source of information. I want to show you guys the global seismographs. Remember the 6.9 that we saw, I believe it was yesterday during the live stream? Well, there's the energy on the seismograph. See the black, there were 2 incidents less than 5 hours apart, and they both showed up on global seismographs. These down here are offline. They haven't worked for quite a while. That's showing 2 large earthquakes yesterday, and here's the earthquake activity that we can see around the U.S. No available data at Fox Creek, Wyoming. We've got some data at Flag Ranch, but it looks like the Earth is tilting at Flag Ranch. You can see the tilt, the obvious tilt in the data set here at the Flag Ranch, Wyoming, which is not far from the supervolcano. So it makes you wonder, do we take this information literally, or we just assume that, okay, that's a faulty sensor? But this has been like this for a while. I can attest to this. The Snow King Mountain in Wyoming, that has been like that for a long time. So I don't know if it's just the personality of the graph. I would say that it's detecting something. These are pretty straightforward instruments. It's kind of, they can break. Anything mechanical can break, Graham. Are magnetic anomalies in the same place as high UV? That's a good question, Graham, and not necessarily. I haven't noticed any anomalies above Abbotsford specifically, but his UV up in Abbotsford, British Columbia is always higher than Phoenix, and it shouldn't be. In fact, it should be 2 points lower. 2.5 points lower. In fact, they shouldn't get above 10 very often. He's consistently above 10 in the summertime, more than Phoenix, Arizona. That shouldn't be the case. And then this seismograph here in Elko, Nevada. But good question, Graham, and thank you for the super chat. Look at Elko, Nevada. Are you serious? Jet black. This is following the large earthquake that occurred yesterday during our live stream. You guys were on here. Most of you guys were on here. Look at that, jet black in Nevada. Because that seismograph was already showing signs of activity, and when the primary wave from the big quake came rolling through, and it did, and that energy normally flows through Yellowstone, but it's not there right now. If we look at the data today, it's just simply not there. But that 6.9 down south of New Zealand would have showed up on the Yellowstone seismographs. That energy went through there. It always does. But yeah, that energy was felt around the world on seismographs, not necessarily by people. Look at Mississippi's seismograph, detected the big earthquake thousands of miles away down south of New Zealand. Seen it many, many times. And that tells you right there, the thickness of that signature on that seismograph tells you that was a pretty strong shallow earthquake. The deeper ones don't make it all the way up, especially south of New Zealand, in between Antarctica and New Zealand. That energy will travel around the world, yes, but by the time it gets up above the equator and over towards Mississippi and North Carolina, Maine, up in that area, it's lost a lot of its momentum and its horsepower is pretty much zero. So it doesn't show up on the seismographs, but the energy nevertheless does travel all the way around the world. Yes, indeed. And I want to show you guys something else that's been occurring around the world and in different places that's kind of weird. Well, speaking of earthquakes, real quick, since we're on the topic, Mount Rainier, we were talking about Yellowstone and how, all these are connected. Mount Rainier is at 1,073 today for the last 30 days. That's up 273 in less than 2 weeks. Yeah, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. It was 800. Now it's at 1,073. So the frequency of earthquakes at Mount Rainier, as you can clearly see, and right here it is, that was my banner, and there's the confirmation over here at the website, PNSN, Pacific Seismic Network. A lot of activity at Mount Rainier, and the activity seems to be increasing. So we'll see what happens when this massive sunspot turns towards the Earth. Whoa. Okay, guys, check this out. Remember, I got another example of blue rain, and I've also got an example of red rain. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, the red rain is associated with the Sahara dust, which the Sahara dust is very prominent. It's making not only a journey across the Atlantic Ocean, 4,000 miles to the U.S., it's going east too, all across the northern part of Africa, over into Saudi Arabia, into the northern Indian Ocean, and even up into northern India. That's all Sahara sand. One place you don't see it though, right now, it's been there, but not right now. Everything's all good in Ireland, Scotland, and the United Kingdom with regard to the Sahara sand. But you're going to see something here that is highly, highly unusual. Check this out. Blue rain and red rain. Multiple examples of blue rain, and this stuff is falling from the sky. It's not just something that's blending in with something on the ground. South Indiana, Hanny sent this video in, actually a couple of photos, of blue rain that accumulated in this backyard toy. She couldn't believe it. She was like totally surprised. It looked like it had food color in it. Here's example number 2, blue rain by CRX Ed 34. I believe he's out of Florida. Look at the blue rain. That also accumulated in the backyard, various things in the backyard that just happened to catch some rainwater. We've all had that happen. Michi had 3 out of Texas. Check this out. Oh my goodness, look, you'd think a blue Gatorade spilled over there. Or windshield washer fluid, something like that, right? That was so blue. This was a parking lot after a rainstorm. Wow. That is what you call blue. And that fell from the sky. How does something like that happen? You know what I mean? So bizarre. Blue rain example number 4. Ted out of Calamasa, California. Are you serious? This has been going on for a couple of months, about 2.5 months, to be honest with you, at various locations across the country and probably other locations around the world that we just don't know of. These were locations that people saw it and they shared their examples with me, and I'm sharing them with you guys. This is obviously a hot tub that was sitting outside empty. After it rained, that's what showed up in the hot tub. Little puddles of blue water that came from the sky. Wait till you see the next example, right? Say blue rain and now red rain. You guessed it. Glasgow, Scotland. Iwan M. 7/28/2025. This occurred just yesterday, right around 24 hours ago. And the map that I showed you, this is not from Sahara sand. Sahara sand influences the sunrises and sunsets. And I suppose if conditions were just right and there was enough of the particulate matter from the western coast of the Sahara Desert, I suppose it could rain something like that, right? But this is not from the Sahara sand. In fact, you can see it was even bigger. He was totally surprised. He said this appeared for the first time after it rained here within the last 24 hours. Look at that. It had covered, you can see, where it had went all the way up to the edge. See the red line? And then it pooled right there at the low point of the lid of that, what looks like maybe a table, a picnic table, or small picnic table. But nevertheless, it's a place where the water found the lowest point, like it always does. But it was red. Here's a close-up of it. Almost looks like it took some sort of particulate, I don't know, in it, in the middle of the puddle. What is going on? Anybody else noticing this stuff? I mean, this is wild. And this is falling from the sky. So I brought this map up. This is the first time you've seen this map, but I wanted to just offer some clarity because a lot of people, and you guys are smart people, you're going to say, oh, that's Sahara sand. Well, I thought the same thing too at first. I'm like, well, that sand must be making its way up into the 52, 53, 54 degree north latitude. And I've seen it do that. It can and probably will do it. But not right now. Clear as a bell in Scotland. No Sahara sand. So what's making the rain red? What is going on? Not only red, but blue. Wow, great pictures. Thanks for sharing there, Iwan. Those photos came out of North Scotland. Yikes. Almost looks like iron oxide or something that was caught up in the atmosphere. I don't know. I've never seen that before. The blue we've seen now 4 times. So that tells you that this has probably happened many, many more times. The red, this gentleman here just happened to be alert enough to notice it, took some photos because it is unusual. But I'm sure other people in Scotland noticed it as well. So we are seeing around the world in the eastern and western hemispheres unusual colored rain falling from the sky, blue and red. Why? You know what I mean? Blue rain, red rain. Those are the examples that I've gotten, guys. Once again, from both the eastern and western hemispheres. Hey, Sith, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, guys. It's very kind. Do you think this may be the big event coming? Let me give you a thumbs up there for the super duper. Sith Lord, I do. I think it's the precursor. There's several things that we're seeing that I would consider harbingers. A harbinger is a precursor to something bigger. And yes, I've just seen a dramatic increase in overall activity around the earth in a lot of different aspects of the earth. You know, volcanic activity, earthquake activity, this dust being blown all over the northern hemisphere. Honestly, 10 years ago, I don't remember this being the norm. You know what I mean? Because again, like I mentioned yesterday, this area right here is known as, during hurricane season, the main development region for hurricanes. Main, which means that's where the majority of the hurricanes form. A hurricane couldn't form there if I don't even think you could try to make one form there. The air is way too dry and it's too windy. So I don't think that even qualifies to be the main development region, because there's hardly any hurricanes that form there anymore. Very rarely, not since Hurricane Irma. Irma made the 4,000-mile journey from right here. Let me get my zoomer. I'll show you where it came from. I saw it come off the coast as a tropical wave. And I'm like, wow, that's got potential, because there wasn't anything in its way. That's where Irma was born. Hurricane Irma made the journey all the way across, just like the sand is doing now. Sand particulates. But there's not going to be a hurricane there, and that's good. We don't want hurricanes, but I don't think people necessarily like Sahara dust all over their morning breakfast when they're eating outside. Those of you that eat breakfast outside. I've got something that I wanted to share with you guys. This is really cool. Check this out. I don't know anything about, I know a little bit about these because I've researched them, okay? And I've analyzed this very fascinating object that was spotted at a very high altitude above the Earth. And it was just the one half. I've got the other, it's just like that. This is a double view. This is what it looked like in the sky over here on the left, and I just simply turned it upside down on the right, put them side by side for presentation purposes. That's all, just to look at them. But look what somebody sent me. And I know the chat knows because I've asked you guys questions about things. Look at the uncanny resemblance. Handyman Mike shared this with me, and he couldn't help but notice the uncanny resemblance between this, and he said it was in some movie. Do you guys know? Help me out here, because I don't know what he was alluding to. Do you guys know what that is? I think it was some sort of a mothership or something in a movie. What is it? Prometheus? Is that what that is? Chad? But doesn't that look similar? Same shape. How about that? He couldn't help but notice the shocking similarities. Same shape and size. Giant purple shrimp. Ah, Prometheus. There you go. I knew you guys would get it. Prometheus, Prometheus, Prometheus. You guys are always right. You guys are too smart. There you go. Notice the uncanny resemblance, right? Hey, there's Polenta. Hey, Polenta and Pegasus over in Northern California. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I found that super cool. There you go. Something similar. I mean, this thing over here was a definite conversation piece, to say the least. And it still is. That is a highly unusual, one of the most unusual I think I've ever analyzed. And the clarity on that thing, that was in 4K format. So I was able to zoom in and not have to, give up a whole lot of clarity. I mean, it stayed clean the whole way in. So what a bizarre event. Okay, guys, I do have a little bit of information, but this is unconfirmed regarding this, what is being called a comet for right now. That could change. Thank you, Rhonda, for the super chat. That's super kind. Love your info. Great personality. Keep it. Aw, thank you. That's very kind. Let me give you a thumbs up. Thank you, Rhonda. It's being called a comet for now, okay? Because that's really what it should be. But it's coming in at such a bizarre angle. It's coming in like this, guys. It's coming in like this, like an airplane would fly. Comets are usually on an incline, like this or like this. Not like that. Are you serious? And that's why it was so hard to detect, because it was blending in with the center of the Milky Way galaxy. I'm surprised they even saw it. So they were almost under the impression that this thing was trying to hide, and it was using the center of the Milky Way galaxy to hide, not be visible. Well, they found it, and there it is. So the only update that I have, and this is unconfirmed, so I don't know this to be a fact, but I did hear, in fact, somebody told me through email. I just wasn't able to confirm it. Maybe you guys can confirm it. You guys are very bright. Someone said that this is starting to slow down a little bit. And one of the scientists had made a comment about if this thing slowed down or sped up, that it could even confirm more that this is some sort of technology, if it had the ability to slow down or speed up. Somebody did say it was slowing down. Hey, Polenta, thank you. We're living in the twilight zone. Oh, you're Boy, that's for sure, Polenta, right? Seems like every day there's something bizarre going on. Thank you for the super chat, Polenta. And yes, it does seem like we're living in the twilight zone. That's why I tell people, you don't have to make things up. Just go outside and look around. Pay attention. You'll see something that that is quite shocking. And speaking of shocking, I told you guys at the beginning of the live, I had a different video to share with you guys, and I'm going to share that with you guys now. I've had these in my folder of unique videos, and I'm going to share a couple of them with you guys today. I've got a lot more, trust me, but I'm still working on them. Hey, Graham, what happened? Thank you for the super chat. What happens when Atlas goes to the asteroid belt? Well, that's a good question. Maybe I doubt if anything will happen, to be honest with you. This thing seems like it's on a very specific course. It really does. Check this out, guys. This video was sent in by Cameron out of Australia. This was a trail camera, and this is just for fun. These are some of the things here's another super chat. Hey, Kirk, we love you, 333. Please, no BS, much respect. You got it, man. Oh, good. Whoop. I'm trying to give you a thumbs up there, brother. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Australia. There's some activity over here on the left. This is a trail cam. Something showed up as the trail cam was activated, and it just kind of froze over here on the left. I don't know, I just heard something loud outside the window. I don't know what that was. And guys, this is just for fun, okay? This isn't anything nefarious. It's just curious, that's all. Not anything nefarious, just curious. Do you see it over there on the left? Do you see, this is what he saw, shared it with me. He shared the original with me. What I've done is I've taken the original and I dug deep into my bag of tools and I brought this thing forward because it was hard to see, but he's the one that brought it to my attention. He goes, I think there's something standing over there by that tree that's about 2.5 feet tall. And in the original, I'm like, huh? Well, the more I brought it forward and kind of decluttered it and took away a lot of the static, you can see what looks like something standing over there. He was right. Here's the raw footage. This is what I'm talking about. You really don't see anything, right? The reason you can see it is because I took away some of the darkness without compromising too much of the video. And I converted it to 4K. So you don't really see too much right there. Now watch what happens when we take away the darkness, right? You can see what looked like two eyes over there. Here we go. This is the original, unedited. And then once we edited, it's like, there he is. But it froze. It was almost like when the camera activated, maybe it made a noise or something. And whatever that was hypersensitive to the noise. And then there it is. Here it is in a slightly modified. I didn't modify it too much because sometimes when you over modify, you'll lose clarity or something in another arena. So you have to balance everything out. But there it is. I could get the eyes to come forward in this format. This one here turned out very interesting. You can see a little bit of movement over there, but not quite as much. It's right down here. And again, this is just for fun, guys. I wanted to see what you thought of this here because it was unique. It's the only one like this I've ever received. This one here is not. There it is right there. It was way down low. Again, this video is out of Australia. Yes. What they call these trail cams, and they're activated by any type of wildlife that moves through the viewfinder or the sensor of the camera. This one here turned out probably the best. I was able to remove a lot of the darkness, and there you go. Whatever it may be is standing over there. There's something standing over there. I don't think that's just a random leaf. If it is, it's shaped exactly like a head. See it over there? And you can kind of see a torso. Hey, Tina Brown, thank you for the super chat. Okay, this one here, I'm going to pause it right here. See it? You can't make this stuff up. You saw the original video. He saw something in there too. He simply asked me to analyze it, and I did. And that's what showed up. I haven't done anything to this except remove darkness, add a little bit of light, destaticked it, took a lot of the noise out, increased it to 4K. Sometimes I can do that. I can transfer it from 1080 to 4K. Hey, Tina Brown, thank you for the super chat. That's super cool. Let me give you a thumbs up. We watch you every day. Oh, that's super kind. Thank you, Tina. And thank you for the super chat. I'm glad you guys enjoy the content. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit today. That's why I'm adding this little bonus video. You know, it's just interesting. And the gentleman has had this trail cam out here for the longest time. And he's right there. There you go. There, I converted it to 4K. You can see around what looks like a head. You can see the nose, the eyes, possible mouth. Again, you can't make this stuff up. This was really in the video. But he said he's never seen anything in this video other than, you know, wildlife. He said he'd never seen anything like this. And I'm like, he thought there was something there, and he was right. There was something there, but he didn't know what it was he saw. Looks like a little creature over there, and there's the original again, and it's right down there. And you can see this is in 1080 format. This was a good quality camera, so that gave me the ability to upgrade it to 4K. And I've got another one that I'm going to share with you guys. That's a web strand. Down here, those are eyes that are on some sort of a head. These little things right here, those can be caused by a strand of silk from a spider, where the spider makes its web. That's how it builds the web. Right there, those little bitty things that look like points of light. Those aren't points of light. Well, the camera detects them as light, but that's from a web. Web from a spider, yeah. Okay, this one here is equally as bizarre, but just in a different part of the world. The first one you just saw was from deep in the southern hemisphere in Australia. This one's far in the northern hemisphere, in the eastern hemisphere, in Edinburgh, Kent, United Kingdom. Mike C. Okay, check out the backstory. You ready? Here we go. They were camping, and this was in the middle of the night. They heard a noise outside their tent. They had tents and campers. So they went outside to see what the ruckus was. They heard something moving around in the tree. He couldn't see up in the tree that well because it was dark. It was in the middle of the night. So he just took a couple of pictures of the trees because they could hear noise in the trees. But once they went out there, the noise stopped. So he sent the pictures to me and asked me if I could analyze them. And I said, yeah, I'd be glad to. He goes, I think there was something in one of those trees. But the original pictures, it was a little difficult to tell. Watch in the middle of this tree there. You can see the Y where the thicker branches are. Look what happened when we remove some of the darkness. Look at that. That's not a branch. You can't make this stuff up. This was over in the United Kingdom. And I went to the campground that he said he was at, and sure enough, there's multiple campgrounds in that area. And I actually found those trees. That was not in the trees that I found on Google Earth. However, it was in the tree that night. He took that photo, but he couldn't see it. See it right there? You can see what looks like something holding on. So it was either another camper, maybe from another tent. Oh, thank you for the super chat there. Above, on you're a Star family member. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. I'll get right back to you. Unless it was a camper that was hanging out up in the tree. That looks like a human. You can't make this up, man. What is that? So no wonder it was making noise, right? Above the norm news. Thank you for the super chat. There it is again. This one here turned out pretty good. Once you remove the darkness and then you kind of got to add a little sprinkle of light back, and you don't want to lose too much clarity, but this one here wasn't in 1080. So I couldn't increase it to 4K, but we did the best that we could, with what we had to work with. And it turned out, obviously enough, there's something there that's not a tree. Something was occupying the space between the two bigger branches. They heard it. It woke them up, whatever it was. They couldn't see it again. They just took picture. There it is. This one here turned out the best. There you go. Bingo! Something was in the tree. They were right. No wonder it was making noise. It looks pretty big. Mothman, William? Maybe so. Guys, I just analyze these things, and if there's something there, it may take me a while. I can usually find it. A little hard to identify because the clarity was as good as we could get it, you know? I mean, I could have tried, actually I did. I tried to take it up into a 4K format, reduce the pixelation, and sometimes it's just not possible. You can a lot of the time, but that actually turned out pretty good. This format here, I hardly ever used. When you add static, it's like putting a video in fast forward when you're analyzing lights in the sky or moving branches on trees. When you put them in fast forward, it reveals a lot. Well, I static that one there for a second, and you could kind of see, you know, it was just a different look, that's all. That thing was still there, it wasn't moving. It tells us there was a solid object there. That's why I did that. This one here was like a night vision setting. There you go. Something was up there squatted down in between the two big branches. Scared them, woke them up out of a sound sleep over in the United Kingdom. So does stuff like this go on? Well, obviously it does, you know. And like I say, he just started taking pictures. Thought maybe it might be a raccoon or something like that. He thought it was kind of big, sounded, there you go. That was the original modified. Mary Wren, thank you for the super chat, Mary Wren. You guys are super kind. Hey, everyone. There's a thumbs up for Mary Wren. Thank you, Mary. And Mary's a Star Family member. If you guys want to become Star Family members, links at the top of the chat. Thank you in advance. There you go, right there. That's what woke him up. So he was right. There was something up there stirring around in the trees. Again, we're just having fun here, guys. I get videos like this. In fact, I've got a folder over here on this very laptop of interesting outdoor security cameras. We could probably make a whole series about that. Some of them, though, the clarity is just impossible to work with. It's just the nature of the cameras. These two here, I actually had some success with, so I thought I'd share them with you guys just for fun. One was deep in the southern hemisphere, one high in the northern hemisphere. So creepy things going on at night, right? Moving around, lurking around in the trees. I've got, like I said, another folder that I'll share with you guys someday. In fact, I just got some videos within the last couple of weeks of this guy's camera that caught what looks like a human walking from his neighbor's house, then over in front of his house, but they don't appear to be on the ground. And they're moving very fast. It's super weird. I'm still trying to process it myself. I haven't edited that one yet, but when I do, I'll share it with you guys. Absolutely, I will. Sometimes we just do that for fun because what else are you going to do with it, you know? It's just for fun. Hey, Charles Roffley Jr., thank you for the super chat. You had a dream the Earth looked like Permian extinction. Could this be? Don't know. It could be a lot of things. That's a great question. Thank you for the question. Okay, what else have I got for you guys? Prometheus, the purple rain, or not purple. Yeah, that'd probably be next, right? Purple rain, blue rain, red rain, you name it, it's happening. Good Lord. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. Remember this photo I shared with you guys 3 or 4 days ago, and it is real. I wanted to show you guys where it was actually at, because when I went there, right here, that is a real photo. When I first saw that, I'm like, yo, that's really cool, but probably not real, you know? No, it is. Yeah, right there. This is a river over in Africa that created that beautiful, and it does it in more than one location. This is just one location that I found that you know, it's similar to the picture, not the exact location, but this river runs between Mozambique and I think Namibia, something like that, and then it goes off into the Indian Ocean. But there you go. It is capable at in different places. Let me see if I can turn this around. Oh, thank you, Tina, for the super chat. Oh, that's super kind. Tina is also a Star Family member. Way to go, Tina. Okay, here we go. Let me turn the heading around. You can see what looks like a tree, right? There you go. There's your tree. Now, is this the exact tree? No, of course not, but it's similar. You get the idea. This river is over here producing some of the most amazing, gigantic artwork in the world. Look at that. Water is an amazing thing, right? We couldn't live without it. Hello, Andy from England. Let me spend a little time in the chat here. Yeah, this river right here, it's called the Limpopo River. South Africa is where this is at, and it produces some amazing things. All right, you guys have been wonderful today. Hey, moderator. Oh, you just got kicked off? Showing excellent connection, moderator. It has the whole time today. It showed excellent connection. Looks like a tree. I know it does look like a tree, right? That was made by a river. And honestly, it looks so perfect. I'm like, okay, that's got to be some form of AI. No, it came from that river right there. This very specific river, the right there, you can see on the border of Zimbabwe. Yeah, pretty cool. That is a real photo, guys. Real photo. What's up, Stacy? Jordan, Matt G, Pluto, Tree of Life. Oh yeah, the ancient Tree of Life. Hey, Mary, I lived in Rhode Island until I moved away. I worked at a hotel in Aquanic Island. We would get calls from Canada to track how far and Earth. Oh, really? That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Mary. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing, and thank you for the super chat. You guys are super kind. You really are. And you're super smart. If you want to know something, ask the chat. You guys solved the hummingbird moth mystery the other day. Mike G from Kentucky sent in a video of a mysterious looking flying creature, and you guys got it just like that. You want to know something? Ask the chat. When's the Sahara sand going to quit, chat? I can answer that one. It's going to go on all summer long. Graham Giles, if there's anomalies in our outer core, it may be the reason for the weird. You're right, Graham. Once again, there are anomalies in the outer core on the surface of the Earth. They're causing the seismographs to show unusual readings. And, you know, maybe that's why we can't see the seismographs. We can get some information from the supervolcano area, but and here's what the seismographs and some of these instruments look like from the University of Utah. Here you go. You want to see a seismograph? Solar powered. And the station is right in there. They're usually inside of a concrete container. Let me see if I can find one. And some of them are very remote, like right here. They're difficult. Some of them are very difficult to get to. So if one were to start malfunctioning, you know, it's not an easy journey to get to some of these things. They're in very remote locations. The instrument is down in there. And the reason it's like that is to keep it away from wind. Wind would disturb it and cause you to get false readings. So it has to be inside of a container, like right here. Look at that container. See it? The seismograph is in there. There's its communication device. About that. So that's what they look like. There's another one inside the container, protected from wind. Okay, there's hauling one off. This probably needs repair, or he's taking a new one up there. Good guys and gals at the University of Utah. See how it's solar powered? There's an antenna array, and then the graph itself will be right in there. You can see they got a padlock on it. It's underground. So that way it can detect any movement underground. So there they are, some of the seismographs in the seismograph network, but we're waiting on all of them to come back online because we could have a storm brewing. In fact, there is a storm brewing. This is where I started the video off. There's a gigantic sunspot on the backside of the sun that's turning towards the Earth right now as I do this video. It should be on the Earth-facing side of the sun in less than a week. It could get bigger between then and now and then. What you're looking at is a flat map of the sun. The red parts are the dark side or the back side that we can't see. The green, well, it says it right there, Earth side is the gray. Let me get my handy dandy zoomer. There you go. Why doesn't that stay on? You need to stay on there, zoom it. There we go. Earth side. That is correct. And the backside that we can't see right there. So the orange is the backside, gray is the Earth side. These are the sunspots that are currently facing the Earth right now. And there's not that many. I mean, there's a few, but they're small and not really going to do too much, right? This one back here is bigger than all of the ones that are facing the Earth right now combined and then some. I'll show you the ones that are facing the Earth, and there's not that many. That thing is massive. So it's coming, it's turning towards the Earth. When it starts facing the Earth and that energy starts oscillating towards the Earth is going to feel it. We're going to see an increase in earthquake activity. We're going to see an increase in volcanic activity. How is Yellowstone going to respond to this gigantic sunspot? We'll have to wait and see. It's going to feel it. That is guaranteed. How much it reacts remains to be seen. It's already active right now in certain ways. You know, it's not like it's erupting, but this is a huge sunspot, and its position, the energy is going to come towards the Earth when it lines up with the Earth. It's not like it's above the 30 or below the 30. If it's above the 30, then a lot of times that energy will miss the Earth. That's actually, I think, that's in the same location as the Carrington sunspot of 1859. Yeah, right in that same area. That's where Carrington was, and that's the largest known solar storm ever came from the Carrington eruption of 1859. If that would happen, an event like that were to happen in today's world, with all the satellites orbiting the Earth and all the technology, the wireless communications and software that we rely on, woo, that would not be wouldn't be a great day. Not really. What's going on, moderator? Something. Darcy just did it again. Are you guys getting knocked offline? The internet connection's solid. It really is. Sorry about that. I have no idea. It's not on this end. It says excellent connection. And I'm looking at my modem up there, and it's got strong signal too. Hey, Alexis, what's going on, guys? EMP and CME. I know, right, Jordan? And the EMPs producing the dirty electricity, it just creates a whole thing. And yeah, we're already dealing with I think there's an EMP coming from something that's creating dirty electricity, that's causing, electronics to malfunction. Even cars are malfunctioning. We saw an entire parking lot of cars malfunctioning. I believe it's up in Michigan. I've got the video. All the front and back lights were malfunctioning on the cars. I think 95% of the cars. Hello, Johnner Games. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. That's super kind. Let me give you a thumbs up there. Yeah, we saw a whole parking lot full of cars, headlights and taillights blinking, and nobody was near the cars. Nobody was even there except the cars. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. That's super cool. Thank you, New Star family members. Looking at the earthquake situation right now. So far today, the earthquakes are still there. We saw the 6.6 down in the Fiji Islands. I think that was a deep one too, right? Oh yeah, that was very deep. 553 kilometers deep. Every once in a while, you'll get that earthquake down there that's over 200, 300 miles deep, and that was one of them right there. And those barely register on the seismographs, but you're seeing earthquake activity in Alaska. That's very normal, has been for a long, long time. In fact, coastal Alaska is home to one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded in modern history. History right there. A 9.4, I believe, in 1964, March 27th. Don't quote me on the date, but I know it was March of 64. One of the largest earthquakes ever recorded. Hello from the desert, Odessa, Texas. What's up, Paul? Tina Valco. What's up, Tina? Yeah, but so there's activity up here. We have some speculation that the Pacific plate is moving to the north. There's, that theory going around. From the looks of the earthquake activity and the volcanic activity, that could very well have merit. Absolutely, it could have merit. But then again, the whole area here in the Pacific is called the Ring of Fire. There was an earthquake right there that just occurred. This is a hot spot right here too. Look at that. As we're doing the video, 4.5 off the coast of Northern California and Oregon. Not a big one, but not necessarily a super small one either. This is an area that we're watching very, very close. This area out here is full of hydrothermal vents. And they're saying that there could be a big earthquake out here, a volcanic eruption soon. This is another area that could react to the gigantic sunspot that's turning towards the Earth. We'll be able to see this guy in about 6 days. About 6 days, we'll be able to see that coming around the eastern limb of the sun. So be ready. You're going to see earthquakes go up. You're going to see volcanic activity go up. And more than likely, we'll probably see some solar flares. The solar flares have been non-existent for the last 2 weeks. Looking at, this is what the solar graph or solar flares look like for the last 7 days. Nothing. It's been like that for over 2 weeks. Nothing. No solar flares. And we're in the middle of solar maximum, right? Go figure. But it's the calm before the storm. And I think the stage is being set. And this could be the stage setter. Just remember, that could be the stage setter. Coming over here to the homepage of the website, MrMBB333.com. Super cool photos sent in by Caleb out of North Carolina. Get a load of that photogenic sky. This happens from time to time along coastlines, and this is an example of one of these low-moving, mothership-looking clouds. That's a shelf cloud along the coast of North Carolina. You can see people enjoying the beach on a hot day. And then the storms came rolling in. What a cool photo out of North Carolina. If you guys have photos you could you want to share, if you see anything in the sky, storm photos. I'm putting together a video right now of stormy skies and different things that you guys have shared. Primarily clouds, shelf clouds, roll clouds. If you guys have any videos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at MrMBB333.com or photos there too. If you have larger photos, the easiest way to do it is right here where it says have a large video. Click on that. I'll show you what it does. I'll do it here. Here we go. We're going to click on it. Opens up a Dropbox and then just drag and drop. But when you drag and drop a video or a picture in there, please include your first name. You can include your last if you want. That's great. But I want to be able to give you credit for it. So include your name, date, and location. If you're not comfortable giving your specific town, that's okay. Just maybe a state, or maybe North America, maybe Canada, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I'd like to have a reference point, like right here, this really cool photo. If you hadn't have told me North Carolina, that's all I need, just North Carolina. We wouldn't have known where it was at, right? We like to have a point of reference. So just include that, and I'll take it from there. If you have something you want me to analyze, by all means, send your videos or photos in, and I'll be glad to analyze your photos or videos. Absolutely. Scorcher in Tyler, Texas today, DRVB. What was it today? I haven't been outside much, to be honest with you, but I'm going to take a look. I know it's been hot. It's just been, yeah, well, it was hotter yesterday. This is what it did today in my neck of the woods. 108. But you know what? We're in the desert, so that's normal. That's what we signed up for. We know it gets hot in the summertime. We don't necessarily like it, but it's the way it is out here in the desert. Yes, it is. Yeah, don't forget to share the live stream and like it. When you like it, guys, it just kind of gives it a little more horsepower. That's all. Kind of pushes it out there a little farther. And also, like my moderator, I have the best moderator on YouTube. Thank you, moderator, for that suggestion. She's right. You can replay the live stream. You can just replay it and fast forward, and you can go to any section you want. Any section you want. So Tennessee's been really hot. I know Illinois has been really hot. Tennessee's been very hot. Texas has been very hot. Indiana, people said the humidity and the feel-like temperature in northern Indiana yesterday was just one for the books. Yeah, I know. It's been hot, guys. It's probably going to be a hot summer. We're at least going through a hot spell right now. There's hurricane activity picking up out here in the Pacific. Not necessarily anything going on in the Atlantic, and won't be for any time soon with all that Sahara dust. But you can see right now we have a Cat 3 just south of the Big Island of Hawaii. It will not come anywhere near the Big Island of Hawaii. In fact, I think it's already west of the Big Island. There you go. Cat 5, major hurricane. Do you know once it crosses the prime meridian, which is just past Hawaii, it's a hurricane now, its official name is Hurricane Iona. Once it goes another 150 miles, 200 miles, it will become a typhoon. It's officially a typhoon west of I think it's the anti-meridian. And then over here in the Pacific, it's a hurricane. Just changes names or changes identities once it gets over there. So that's why you never hear of any hurricanes over by Japan, because they're all called typhoons. So you can see we've got some activity out here off the coast of Acapulco. 90% chance of forming Invest 99E, Invest 98E, 70%. This one here is KELI. It's a tropical storm, a named one. And this one is Iona. So 4 points of reference out here in the Eastern Pacific. And none of them, these are the best kind. These are the kind that we like. None of these are going to make landfall anywhere. They shouldn't. This one here, I don't think it's going to last very long. The one off the coast of Acapulco probably won't last very long, because I can see some wind shear coming into play, and it just, I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of time to gain any type of strength. But this one here is a surprising Category 3. It's not very big, but it does have it had an eye wall yesterday. I don't see it today. But it's got a decent satellite presentation. It's not very big. But it's a Category 3. Will be through tonight, and then tomorrow, Category 2, Category 1, and then it will become a typhoon officially. Yeah, once it gets west of Honolulu, I believe it's like 200 miles or something like that. All right, guys. Well, listen, it's been a great day. Thank you guys for stopping by. You can see some activity over here off the coast of, this is Komei. That just made landfall south of Shanghai. This one here is Kurosa. This would be officially a typhoon once it becomes a typhoon here in the next couple of days. Severe tropical storm. It may not even make it to typhoon status. There was forecast models showing that could become at least Category 2. Looks like some wind shear got in the way and decided otherwise, right? So it's coming up near the coast of Tokyo. Tokyo will see some rain here in the next, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 days. This is a very slow mover. That's why the forecast has changed, because the atmospherics and the environment has changed. So at one time, the environment was very conducive for the formation of typhoons over here off the coast of Japan. The environment's changed and it's no longer conducive. So at best, that's going to become a tropical storm, bringing some rain to Tokyo, our friends in Japan. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to hop off here. Hope you enjoyed the live. We'll do it again. Once again, a big sunspot turning towards the Earth. This could be a game changer. We could see even more activity at Yellowstone, earthquakes, and volcanoes around the world. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, by all means, hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep you guys updated on all of this activity and other activity all around the world. And I'll keep you guys updated every single day. Thanks for watching. Have a super day. And be safe out there. Thank you, guys.